Okie dokie. Now on to the tuning of the reeds. Now this, I'm going to talk about now is trying to work out what pitch these reeds are, so then I know what pitch to tune them to. Now this is a bit tricky because this is a vintage accordion, and with these older ones you're never quite sure what pitch they've been tuning it to. So a very standard one now, but a standard pitch to tune it to will be a 440 hertz. So 440 hertz is the frequency of the A, and you tune everything around that. But the older ones, they just did lots of different things. So the next thing I've got to do is try and work out what pitch or what frequency of A this accordion was tuned to, and that's a little bit tricky because it doesn't say anywhere on the accordion itself, there's no writing anywhere. So what I'm going to have to do is do a bit of investigation. I'll show you how I do that. So just bring this down like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the bass side reeds, which are these two here, because the bass side reeds won't be tuned with any tremolo. They'll just be tuned to the pitch of whatever the accordion is tuned to. So if it's A440 or A442 or whatever it is. So I'm going to try and work out what these bass side reeds have been tuned to, and that will give me an idea then of what's going on the treble side. So to do that, I've got my tuner app on the phone here, and I've set it to A440 as the kind of pitch reference, if you like. And what I'm going to do is get my reed block, and I'm going to blow through it and just do a few of the notes and just work out if it's tuned to A440, because if it is, then most of the notes will be hovering around that pitch, or the notes, because I've got this set to A440. If I find that all of the notes are a little bit sharp or flat on each note on here, then I know that if it's not A440 it's something else, and I could change the reference and check again. So I can start off with A440 and see if that matches with what these are doing. Now when you blow through the reeds, your breath has got moisture on it, and that can then get onto the valve and the reed. So what I'm going to do is just get a hanky and put that over. So what I'll do is, as I'm blowing through, it will pick up the moisture before it gets to the reed. So that's just a nice, easy, quick way of doing that. So let's have a little look. Put that on there. And another one. This one. That seemed to be spot on my tuner. Let's try this one. Let's try another one. So I think that the bass reeds have been tuned to A440 hertz, because as I'm playing these notes, they're matching up with on my tuner, which I've set to A440. So that's the reference I think that the reeds have been tuned to. So that's fine. So what I'm going to start off by doing is tuning the bass side reeds up using A440 as a reference, and then I can put them back in and just have a little listen. So I won't film this next bit because I've filmed it quite a few times, and so I'm just going to do my normal practice. So I'm going to use A440. I'm going to tune the reeds by scraping, scratching, flattening and sharpening. So I'll first forget my book. I'll make some tuning notes about which each note and where each note is and how much it needs to be changed, and then I'm just going to tune them up. So what I'll do some tuning on the bass side with A440 as a reference, and I'll put them back in and play, and I'll show you what it sounds like when I've done that bit. Okay, so I've just tuned up the bass side reeds to A440, and this is what they sound like. Oh, there's a bit of rattle on that one. I'll check that later. Oh, I'm going to check that one. That E. Oh, I'll check that. Can you hear that rattle? On that E. Oh, it's on the push. Okay, so I've got the E on the push I need to investigate. So let's so I'm very happy with everything else apart from that E on the push. So I'm going to take the reed blocks out again and just have a look if I can find out what's going on with that E on. Okay, I think I found the problem. So the E on the push, which was an outside one, this one here, and what's happened is, as you can see, it's getting jammed in its reed slot. So what's actually happened to that reed is actually the reed has just moved a little bit over to one side, it's twisted to the side a little bit, it's just jamming in that slot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that reed out. So let's just get that reed out. I can wax it back in again in a bit. So let's get the reed out, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Hang on a minute. There we go. So get the offending reed out. So it's this one just here. So I'm just going to get my pen knife, wipe that out. And if I hold it, if I hold the reed up to the light, I can see that it actually has moved across, so it's closer to one edge of the slot than the other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to try to carefully move that reed back across to the middle. This is a bit tricky. I'm going to get a little screwdriver, I think. So I'm going to try and get that reed more centered. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe a pen knife will do it. Let's have a look. Oh, I know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use a little blade like this, so I can get that underneath. Get my blade underneath, and then I'm just going to see if I can lift it up, and then just come here, lift up the reed, hold it with my hand, and then put some sideways pressure on it and just bring it round to the middle. And I think no, it's doing it again. It's still getting trapped. Okay, I'm going to have another little think about it. Okay, I think I came to the solution. What was happening, I could move the reed across into the middle, but then it moved back again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten up that reed. So I've got a little punch and a hammer. I'm just going to use my little vice as an anvil here, and I'm just going to tap onto that rivet with my punch. I'm just going to tighten up that reed just a little bit, and then just make sure everything's exactly where it should be. Hopefully that will hold it more securely in its middle position in the slot, so without it rattling. So think that's going to be good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put the reed block back in. I'm going to wax it in a bit, so I'm going to turn my wax heater on because I've obviously taken it out, and let's get that heated up. So I'll just wait for the wax to heat up, and I'll wax that reed back in, and then I'll put it back in and I'll show you how it sounds. Okay, so that was interesting. So that E was making an old rattle, and that was the reed itself over to one side in the reed slot, and so I had to move it into the middle, but it then moved back again once I played it, so I needed to tighten up the rivet. So I just got a little punch, tightened up that little rivet to make sure it stayed in the middle. There we go, that's all good. So I'm happy now with the bass side. That sounds nice. So the next step is to have a think about the treble side. Now what I need to do next is isolate the tremolo tuned reeds from the standard, the pitch tuned reeds. So some of these reeds, one side is tuned A440, and what I've checked it by playing these reeds. So one side's tuned to A440, so I'll tune those to A440. The other side is tuned lower. So normally you find that the tremolo set is tuned higher, but on this particular accordion the tremolo set is tuned lower. So it's below A440, which is a bit slightly more rare, but you just got to be more careful. So I'm going to tape off the reeds, the tremolo set of reeds, put the reed blocks back in so that all I'll be playing is the A440 reeds, and I'm going to tune those with my tuner, make some tuning notes. Once I've got all those tuned, I'll put the reeds back in and play it, and then I'll open up the tremolo set of reeds, and then I can listen for the tremolo and tune those as well. So first things first is to isolate the tremolo reeds. So what I'm going to do for this is just bring this down, move it across a little bit like that. There we go. I get some tape, good old electrical tape, work out which set I'm going to tape off, which is this set here, so that when I put these reeds blocks back in, I should only hear one set of reeds. Okay, that's the first one, and I'm going to do this one as well. There we go. So that's my tremolo set taped off. So all I've got to do now is put them back in. So I'll put them back in, and then I'll play it for you with just the reeds playing that are tuned to A440. So just give me a little tick while I've just put it all back together. Right, now this is the single M reed now. tuned it yet, so it's actually sounding pretty nice. So I could actually do a little bit of nice. So that's good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just play one of these notes, white black ones, with my tuner app working on my phone, and I'm going to make some notes now for each note, whether it needs any sharpening or flattening, and by a degree. So I normally just do it as a scale of 1 to 5. So 1 would be just a little bit of sharpening or flattening, and 5 will be significant. And I've kind of got used to my scale, my pattern, if you like, and how much tuning I'm doing. So I'm just going to do a little tuning set of notes for all the white and black notes, how sharp or flat they are from the A440 standard, and then take the reed blocks out, make my first go, do some tuning, put them back in again, reassess it, and then perhaps do that two times, 3 times, depending on how well it goes, and then see how it sounds. So I'll do that, and then I'll show you when I've tuned the single M reeds, which is just tuned to pitch, and I'll show you what that sounds like, and I'll play it for a little bit. Oh, Kikoki, I've now tuned the set of reeds on the treble side, which are tuned to the pitch of the accordion, which was A440. So I've got them all tuned up, and this is what they sound like. So I'm happy with those. That's just where I want them. So the next step is to take out the reeds blocks, take off the tape, and then I'm going to play both sets of reeds together. And at this point I'm going to get my laptop out with my tuner app, Dirk's tuner app, which is going to measure the tremolo, and I'm going to see how the tremolo is sounding when the two reeds are playing together. So I'm going to get my laptop out, and I'm going to assess my tremolo on the treble side. So I'm happy with the sound. I love the sound of this accordion, but now I'm going to measure the tremolo. Give me a second while I get myself set up. Right, so having now taken off the tape, I can see how the tremolo sounds. So this is the last step. So the first step is getting the set of reeds tuned to pitch, tuned up, which they are. Now I've taken off the tape, I've got two reeds playing together, and there should be a tremolo. There will be a tremolo. And now the last step is to measure the tremolo for each note, each white note and black note, and see how it corresponds to how I'd like it to be. And I've got my own kind of tuning pattern which I follow. So let's have a listen. So it's a lovely sound, and I can hear that it's really nice. But I can hear a few notes which are just perhaps too much tremolo, like that one. And there's one down here which hasn't got any. There. So that one hasn't got any. So there is some tuning to do on the tremolo, but it does sound nice. Okay, so next little step, get the laptop out and just have a little measure of the tremolo. Give me a sec. Right, so I've now got my instrument tuner, Dirk's instrument tuner, and I've set my tuning pattern, which is 15 cents of tremolo at C4, which is that one there, and that goes up to 5 at C6. So that's C4, that's C5, and if I had another C up here, C6, I'd have aiming for 5, so it's going to have a gradual descending amount of tremolo as you go further up the keyboard. So if I play my C4, which I would like to have 15 cents of tremolo, if I pull on the pull, so rather than having 15 I've got 21, so that means I've got to reduce the tremolo by 6. Now on the push, there's no tremolo, so either the tremolo reed is choked, not sounding, or it's just the same pitch as the other reed. So I need to increase the tremolo by 15, or it's a choked reed, so I can investigate that. So this is a kind of tricky process really, because you have to go through all of the notes, play them all, and work out how much tremolo you've got and whether you need to increase or decrease. Once you've got notes here, then you have to go back on, take the reeds out, and then make sure that you are changing the pitch of the set of reeds which are do the tremolo. Now in this case, because the tremolo reeds are actually lower than the reeds tuned to pitch, to increase the tremolo I'd have to flatten the tremolo reeds, and to decrease the tremolo I'd have to sharpen the tremolo reeds, which is the opposite to if the tremolo reeds were pitched above the standard pitch reed. So it's kind of reversed. So you have to be sure which way the tremolo is going. So in this particular case it's quite rare, but the tremolo reeds are tuned below the pitch reeds. Most accordions, the tremolo reeds are tuned above. But it means that you just got to flip round your thinking, so that to increase the tremolo reed you have to flatten the reed a little bit to make the difference bigger, and to decrease the amount of tremolo you have to sharpen the reed to make the difference smaller. So it's just a bit complicated, but there we are. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make my notes on all of these and then take the reed blocks out, do some tuning to try to correct the tremolo, and then I'll put them back in again and check it again, and I might have to do it twice, maybe even 3 times, just to get it just perfect, because it's important not to try and do too much at one go, because you can end up going too far. So I'll end up just do a little bit, check, a little bit, check, and eventually get there. Okay, so I'll show you when I've done the first round of tuning of the tremolo reeds. I'll show you what it sounds like. Right, so I've done my first round of tuning on the tremolo reeds, on the black notes and the white notes. So I'm going to put these back into the accordion now. I'm not expecting it to be perfect. I'm expecting to have to do some more tweaks, particularly from some of the higher notes, because with the higher notes you only need to do a little bit to make quite a big difference. So I've been very careful with the smaller reeds not to do too much, because I don't want to keep going back and forward. So I'm just envisaging that there'll be a little bit more tuning of the tremolo reeds, but I'm going to put them in for one go now, see how they sound, and I'll play it for you, and then I'll make an assessment of what I'm going to do next. Right, here we go. This is the first go after the first set of tuning on the tremolo reeds. So let's see how these sound. Hopefully it will sound a bit better, but I'm not convinced it's going to be perfect just yet. It's going to be a work in progress. So let's just bring that down like that. Here we go. That one there, that D, needs more tremolo on the push. Okay, so it's playable, sounds nice, but it still needs a little bit more work, so I'm going to get my laptop out again, I'm going to play all of the notes again and make another series of notes and do a bit more tuning of the tremolo reed. So I'm going to do that and I'll play it when I've done the second pass. Okay, so I've done my final bit of tuning on the treble side, and I think it sounds nice. So I'll just do a little tune and I'll see if I can do a bit of the Godfather, because it's quite a nice one. There we go. So this little old Scarlatti is coming to life. So that's going to be the end of my tuning for this accordion. And so in the last video, which I'll do, my next video will be the last one for this one, I'm just going to finishing off details really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how I level the keys, put the grill cloth, on, and just do a little bit of taping of some of the bellows corners which have gone a bit bare. So just do a bit of that, and then the accordion will be done. So one more video to go, and then this little 24 bass is all ready to go and finished. So thanks for watching, and I hope in some ways that could have been useful or interesting. Thank you.